Intelligence is the ultimate double-edged sword. We are taught that being the smartest person in the room is the goal, but for many, high intelligence acts as a sophisticated anchor. Keeps you stationary while the rest of the world moves forward. You have the outlines, the plans, and the potential, yet you are stuck on step 0. This isn't a lack of discipline, it's a psychological stalemate. Here is the truth about the intelligence trap and the 9 reasons why your brain is actively sabotaging your success. 1. The paralysis of choice. Seeing too many doors. The smarter you are, the more variables your brain can calculate. While an average person sees a path and starts walking, you see 20 different models, 35 potential risks, and 10 competing case studies. Psychologists call this analysis paralysis. When your brain identifies too many options, it treats the act of choosing as a threat. You spend 6 months in research to minimize risk, but the greatest risk of all is the time you are losing. The people you think are less smart are winning simply because they picked a lane and started walking while you were still drawing the map. 2. The illusion of productivity. Mental cardio. Are you busy? Or are you moving? Smart people are masters of productive procrastination. You watch the tutorials, you highlight the books, and you build the frameworks. This feels like work because it burns mental energy, but it's just mental cardio. Real productivity is measured by output, not input. If nothing leaves your head and enters the real world, it doesn't exist. You have to stop confusing preparing to do the work with the work itself. High intelligence often tricks you into staying on the treadmill. Lots of sweat, but you never actually leave the gym. 3. The fear behind perfection. A shield for the ego. Perfectionism is rarely about high standards. It's about fear management. It is the fear of looking stupid and the fear of failing in public. If a project is never finished, it can never be judged. This is why your drafts rot in your notes app and your projects sit at 90 completion. Done will always beat perfect. While you are busy polishing a silver mirror that no one will ever see, someone else is selling a wooden one that actually works. Success requires the courage to be mediocre in public so you can eventually be great in private. 4. The myth of IQ. The threshold effect. We've been conditioned to believe that a high IQ is the golden ticket. However, psychological research into the threshold hypothesis shows that after an IQ of about 120, extra intelligence has a diminishing return on real-world success. What actually predicts a successful life? Emotional intelligence, EQ, and grit. Success is a messy, human game that requires social navigation and the ability to handle rejection, skills that no standardized test can measure. This is why the average students often end up hiring the students. They aren't paralyzed by the need to be right. They are focused on being effective. 5. The curse of knowing too much. Knowledge is power until it becomes a weight that crushes movement. When you know every way a business can fail or every reason a book won't sell, action feels like a death march. Smart people often drown in the how and forget the why. Sometimes a little bit of strategic ignorance is necessary to get a project off the ground. You have to be smart enough to see the risks, but brave enough to ignore them. 6. Why execution beats talent. The effort equation. Psychologist Angela Duckworth's research on grit provides a vital equation. Talent times effort equals skill, and skill times effort equals achievement. Note that effort is counted twice. Many smart people never built their effort muscle. Because school was easy and tests were simple, they never learned how to grind. When they hit a real-world wall that can't be solved with a high IQ, they stall. Consistent, average performers who never stop moving will always eventually pass the sporadic genius who only runs when they feel inspired. 7. The smart person's ego. The fixed mindset. When your entire identity is built on being the smart one, failure feels fatal. It isn't just a mistake. It's a direct attack on who you are. To protect this ego, you stay in your comfort zone. You don't try new skills where you might look like a beginner. You preserve your identity at the expense of your future. Growth requires the willingness to look foolish. If you aren't willing to be a stupid beginner, you'll never be a master. The social blind spot. Relationships over credential. Success is a social sport. Connections beat credentials nearly every time. However, Many highly intelligent people neglect the soft skills. They find small talk beneath them or networking exhausting. Your brain might win the argument, but relationships win the opportunities. If people don't want you on their team because you're arrogant or socially detached, your intelligence is a dormant asset. The average people are building alliances while you are building theories. 9. Escaping the trap. The power of low barriers. How do you break the cycle? You don't need a new plan. You need a lower barrier to action. Ship messy work. Force yourself to release things at 70 completion. Output over input. For every hour you spend learning, spend 2 hours doing. Stupidly simple systems. Don't write a book. Write 1 paragraph. Don't start a business. Make 1 sales call. Final truth. Intelligence is not results. Your intelligence gave you potential, but only action gives you results. The world is full of brilliant people who never did anything. Don't be one of them. Stop letting your brain build excuses and start letting your hands build a future. The question isn't whether you're smart enough to succeed. It's whether you're smart enough to finally get out of your own way.